Just a few hours ago, I had a question from a consulting client of ours asking why they randomly saw a drastic dip in performance. And it wasn't just a consulting client. I've actually seen this question be asked multiple times in other communities and groups that I'm a part of. And so in this video, what I thought I'd do is put together a quick breakdown of what ad fatigue is, why ad fatigue occurs, and then what you actually need to do in order to fix ad fatigue. And the good thing is it's way simpler than most people realize. Now, what is ad fatigue? All that ad fatigue is and all that ad fatigue means is it means everybody that is able to look at my ad has seen my ad. And so that ad no longer performs because people go, oh, I've seen this already. Think about ad fatigue. If you've ever watched Netflix at some point in your life, or maybe you used to watch TV back in the day, maybe even on YouTube, whatever it might be, and you get served the same ad over and over and over to the point where you go, man, I am just sick of this shit. That's all ad fatigue is at its core. It is the person that you are serving the ad to, or the pocket of people that you are serving the ad to, is getting tired of your ad. Therefore, the ad decreases performance. One of the biggest levers in human psychology that you can use to influence behavior is novelty. And as soon as something becomes no longer novel, the A, suggestibility of the ad, but B, the ad's ability to get you results is going to decrease. Now, you can continue to run it, and if your costs continue to go up and you can stomach it, that's how oftentimes you can beat competitors, because again, you go from not spending much to spending a ton, and if they can't stomach those costs, then awesome. It's a whole nother video for another time. But at the end of the day, all ad fatigue is people are getting tired of your ad, and so it's costing you more money to serve it to the same people. That is literally all of it is. So think of this Netflix scenario in terms of what is happening when ad fatigue happens. And the way that people typically will see this manifest is they'll go, oh, my cost per call is all over the place and I can't predict it anymore. Or my CPMs spiked and I can't predict it. And all of these metrics inside your funnel will just start blowing up. People won't show up to calls. You get shitty leads, all of these different things. You get all of these different, what feel like random events occurring inside of the ad account. You're wondering why, because this worked literally a week ago at twice the amount of spend it is now. All that typically means is you're experiencing what we call ad fatigue. Now, we briefly touched on this, but why does ad fatigue happen? If we go back to the Netflix example, you've got to think that people are going to respond, and this is very similar to the messaging video on my channel, so go check that out. But people are going to look at each ad, and one of these is going to get them to convert, whether it's ad 1, ad 2, ad 3, ad 4. This person is going to buy from one of these 4 ads. We just don't know which one it is. And again, on the other side of that, let's say it's ad 2, they get the money. What will end up happening though is if you go back again, go check out that messaging video if you haven't. There's this concept we talk about when it comes to messaging angles or different angles that will attract people. I want you to think of it again. If you go watch that video, it'll be the same concept. Think of it in the same way you do the ads themselves. So let's say ad 1, ad 2, ad 3, and ad 4. Each one of these inside of the TAM, the total addressable market, has a select number of people that it will elicit a response from, a select number of prospects, future customers that the ad will get people to say, hey, yeah, that's me, I want to buy. And so what ends up happening is when you start to spend a bunch of money on an ad, eventually what you do is you spend for the entire audience to see it. And then all of a sudden people go, I've seen this already, I don't want to buy. And what ends up happening inside of the account is this starts to occur with all of the ads. Every single ad begins to spend all of the money to be served to all of the people inside of the space. And so what does Facebook start to do? When it realizes its current audience, what it'll do is 2 things. Either A, it will try to expand the TAM, which is why you begin to get shitty people coming through the funnel. Or B, what will happen, and oftentimes what you'll see inside of the account through a metric I'll touch on in a minute, is it will begin to try to re-spend the dollars, to re-spend them to the same people. So just imagine these dollar signs as people. Facebook will say, okay, we gave it to them once, they didn't want it, let's try it again. And then they'll try it again. And then they'll try it again. And it'll either keep circling back, or again, it'll go and try to expand to the TAM and try to find money out here or money over here. But there's few and far between. And so what ends up happening is you get these shitty customers that have no money or they aren't even interested in your thing. That is the principle of ad fatigue at its core. And what we're looking for inside of the accounts, outside of just a dip in performance, is a metric that is called frequency. If you don't have this set up in the ads manager, I highly encourage you to do so. What frequency is the metric that tells us how many times has that ad been served to people. So if we go back to this example over here and we look at an individual as a dollar sign, let's say we spend $1 to serve an ad to a person. If we spend $1 on an ad, it's going to reach this individual. But again, remember, there's only so many of these people. So what Facebook ends up doing is after you've served an ad to every single person over here, all that's going to happen is the next dollar is going to take the same ad and serve it to the same person. And every dollar that I spend and every view that this individual gets on the ad marks the level of frequency or marks the frequency that this operates in. So if you've ever run engagement campaigns or different traffic campaigns, you'll know that frequency isn't necessarily a bad thing, but what it's telling us is how many times is my ICP or avatar or prospect seeing this ad. And what you'll notice is as you see a dip in performance or you see your costs go up, the first thing I want you to do is look at the frequency, because this will tell me immediately, okay, cool, that ad's just dead. And that's it. So that's what ad fatigue is. It's very, very straightforward. It's the amount of times that somebody actually sees your ad. And then we explain why it happens, because Facebook no longer can serve to that audience that you've been serving to. So it either tries to serve more people and your campaign performance dips, or it continues to serve to the same individuals over and over and over, causing your cost to go up as well, because you've already gotten those people that were going to buy right away. So how do we fix it? Before we get to that, there's one thing that is extremely important for you to understand in regards to ad fatigue. This only arises when your ads work. If you see bad performance, but you have not proven a single ad or a single messaging pocket, it is not ad fatigue. And if you're curious what the problem is in your current funnel that you're running, there's gonna be a link below. You can book a call to speak with myself or a member of the team. We'll run you through wherever you're at in your current situation, again, point you in the best direction when it comes to solving for this problem of just a dip in performance. And maybe it is fatigue. We just don't know until we see inside your account. So like I said, there's a link below. You can book that call. You speak to either myself or a member of the team. Now, when it comes to ad fatigue, how do we actually go about fixing this? And this is the simplest part of this entire video. Let's say ad 1 stopped working, no longer works. All I'm going to do is say, okay, what was the message being used in ad 1? That's going to become ad 2. And then I'm going to run it until it stops working. And I'm gonna go back to this message and I'm gonna say, okay, ad 3, because we already know that whatever we're saying here works. So when this stops performing, all we're gonna do is just duplicate it and say it in a different way. Easiest way to overcome this that I've seen, I think Hormozi talks about this in one of his podcasts. I listened to this years ago. Just change the color of the shirt. I can say the same thing word for word, and realistically, I want to. Same hook, same body, same environment. Maybe I just changed my shirt. Maybe it's same shirt, same hat, same words, different environment, different background. Maybe it's going from selfie to professional camera. All I'm gonna do with ad fatigue is just rotate. And then eventually over time, what you can do is you can just circle back to ad 1. It worked back in the day. Why wouldn't it work now? You just need to give it time. Because again, if we go back to this core principle of ad fatigue, all it is that the people in these pockets have already seen your ads. That's it. And so eventually what happens is people forget, like anybody. You forget about what you saw, especially on Reels. You forget about what you saw just a couple days ago. So if you give it a couple months and then you launch the old ad 3 months later, it starts working like crazy. So that's the overcome. And the other thing that's important to know when overcoming ad fatigue, very simply put, is to not overcomplicate this process. If something works, just replicate it and put a different spin on it. It's the whole, like, what's the saying? I think it's like great artists steal or something. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're just stealing the idea that worked and refreshing it. Last thing I'll touch on when it comes to fixing, because people always have a question about this, is let's say we're running Facebook ads. That's just going to be the example we'll use. You'll have your campaign, you'll have your ad set, and then you'll have all of your ads. Ad 1, ad 2, ad 3. Again, there's another video on our channel about campaign best practices. You can go check that out, learn a little bit more. Or campaign structure best practices. But again, you'll have your campaign, your ad set, and your ads. Let's say ad 1 dies. All I'm going to do is create ad 1.1. Again, we're just doing a spin off of ad 1, and then I'm going to replace it with that. That's it. Let's say ad 2 dies. Then again, I'll do ad 2.1 and I'll replace that. And I'm just repeating this process because if the ad set worked, we're just going to keep it going. We're not going to kill something that works. This ad set has data that performs. So that's it. As things begin to die, you just insert a new one. Again, following that same messaging we talked about earlier. That's it. Don't overcomplicate this process. And if you really are curious if your situation may be unique or how we would approach this for your business, there's a link below. You can book a call again to speak to myself or the team. But that's everything you guys need to know about ad fatigue. Seriously, don't overcomplicate this concept and problem. It is one of the easiest things to solve for. The hardest part is knowing when it's happening. And so this video should cover everything you need to know again about what it is, why it happens, and how to fix it. If you like content like this, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment with what you want to see next, and I will see you in the next one.